Tonight, I am hosting a very special dinner party. You will meet some movers and shakers in the entrepreneurial and business scene. Take a seat at the table and discover the highlights and struggles of these power players. Bon appetit! I find I'm guilty of that when I meet people. I just sometimes want to get to like, who are you? What are you doing? And then after, later on, once you get to know that person, the interesting part of what makes them is actually their day-to-day operations. Like, wow. The person that is the loudest at the table tonight is Nikki. She's my business partner. She is someone I look up to, and she's my best friend. Tell your story of,
So I finished high school and I traveled for a little bit, and I came back to Kingston because there was a guy I liked and I didn't know what I wanted to do for work. Yeah.
Guys.
I was like, I need to be in Kingston. This is gonna work out great. So I started working for my dad's manufacturing company, which they manufacture hot dog carts. And there was no job for me there and like no one to train me. So I was like, we need to start doing food trucks because this is what I'm seeing, this is trendy. So I was lucky, he just let me take that project on. And I sold a food truck before the website was up, and then the website was up, and like the business keeps growing. We're the biggest in Canada. And so we manufacture food trucks, trailers, custom shipping containers, mobile boutiques. Like my clients are all really interesting and different. It's really cool who I get to work with, but now we're breaking into the US market. So we got like a $20,000 grant to do US trade shows. So now we're trying to get like our US customers, because we weren't for how big the market is, we weren't doing enough business in the US. Considering our cart business is like all US, like it's all,
right.
I don't, like you said, for me, it didn't matter who liked me in Kingston because none of our business is in Kingston.
Also, she says, I got a $20,000 grant. The one thing is, people are like, how do you write a grant?
Well, manufacturing's in again. It was technology. Now manufacturing is what they're, people are
using it. It's a huge perspective, right? And I probably shouldn't go to the government grant personally, but there's all sorts of grants out there. The challenge, and I met with so many ministries, and in fact they're starting to change, which is good. Yeah, totally. But there's all these little grants that personally I think they're just trying to get votes rather than put it into one group or one department that's accountable for, right? So these grants are good, but the reality is, and I've said this to government officials that asked my opinion, the stuff I said, look, entrepreneurs list, you have multiple hats and you're weighing between, I can go after that 20,000 grant, or I can go after that $500,000 clients. Just which one I'm going after, right? So,
exactly.
So if you can write it and you have time, that's great. But the challenge is you got to constantly weigh your time against where's my ROI?
And the reporting time.
I mean, I wrote the grant. Yeah. And I also have a sales. I do sales. I write grants. I design. I do the layouts for the food trucks. I order the equipment. I don't do just one thing, so that was something I made time for. And I have people that help me that know a lot more about it than me. Right. I'm not I don't wake up and I'm I heard about this website and you'll find this grant. There was a resource for me, but
I feel like there's a whole side conversation with that because you're talking about people starting out, how do you know what's available? Yeah. And where do you go for this information?
These days, you can call almost every city, every town. There's a economic development organization that you should be able to call, and they should have all of that for you.
Yeah. Well, that helped us a lot when we started our fashion truck. We each got a grant, and it was super helpful for us, and I wouldn't have known about it unless they,
for sure.
Unless we reached out.
The truck wouldn't be on the road.
Yeah, we needed those. We needed those micro grants.
No, but it was great because it was like a crash course.
Yeah, it was a business course. It was the best thing ever.
I'm not when we talk about entrepreneurship, you don't go to school for it, but go for school for a month and hear everything you can, and then go do your field work.
This was the best thing I ever did. Yeah. Was I joined the EO organization.
Yes, you told us about that. Yeah.
What's the EO? So it used to be YEO, which was Young Entrepreneurs Organization. It's an international organization, but they've dropped the Y, the young part, and it's just EO now. And so you have to meet a certain criteria to get into the group, but it's like the CEO club.
There's
totally confidential. If anyone breaches confidentiality, they're out. Non-competitors around the table at about the same level in their business success. And then you grow together. And so you share everything. And we shared everything, personal and business related, because you're going through stuff that other people will not understand.
So there are a lot of associations that are like that. It comes with a price tag. What's also important, like when I started, I chose to go with people in different industries, right?
I agree.
Because at the end of the day, a business is a business.
Yes.
Right? So the function of a business doesn't change no matter what widget you're trying to sell. And so from that perspective, you're going to start a club, get a club with people with various experiences.
Yes. I believe an entrepreneur, it's a mindset. There's something inside of us that is driving us. And that journey is not what is glorified. The journey has these huge highs and huge lows. And that's part of what we love about being an entrepreneur. Because you get these great highs. But if you get the great high, you're always, there's going to be a low that you hit on a regular basis, because one, life happens, but also it's the entrepreneur's journey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's always things that happen.
Yeah.
I've made it, and I've lost everything 3 times. And so that journey of starting over again and thinking through of, I've got to do this all again. So it was so hard to get from nothing to somewhere and a great exit, and then to go and lose it again. And then to pick yourself from that to go, oh my God. Yeah, so I was homeless. I lived in a shelter. I had nothing. I had $200.
I think you just became my new inspiration.
No, I had $200 to my name, and I just knew.
How old were you?
I didn't know a single person. I was 24.
Where were you?
Calgary.
I was in New York.
Yeah.
You lived in a homeless shelter too?
Yeah.
Yeah. New York. And you come back from that, and in a year and a half, I started my business. And within a year I had 75 employees, and then you're off. A year and a half. So I knew that as soon as I quit my job, I'd never get a house. I would never be able to get a loan, probably forever, for my life. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna qualify for a loan right now. I'm gonna get that house. I'm gonna rent, this is way before Airbnb existed, way before, because this is like 25 years ago. And so I rented out every aspect of the house, down to a fenced yard to a neighbor with a dog. To the garage was rented out. I put my car in the street. The basement was rented. Every room in my house was rented. And I had my little room with my boyfriend. I know this is gonna be like every second of my life is gonna be in here. But I need money to eat and to pay for my car. That was about it that I had. The house was paying for itself. So I waitressed. Okay, so now I'm gonna use all of this money that I saved. Now we're gonna start the business. And then
Did you have anybody guiding you at that time?
No, there was no one around to help you at that.
Nope, you just figure it out. You make one mistake.
Where did that come from?
How did you?
Healthcare company. So I was a nurse who had no business experience whatsoever. I had not a clue how to do anything business related. I just knew I am going to start a business and this will be my life. For 3 years, my whole life was just consumed by that. You just keep figuring it out.
Okay, this house is actually going to disappear and we are not going to exist in literally 3.5 minutes. Everyone go under their chair. So we have 20 seconds. Joe, your insecurity, one piece of advice.
Take
Go.
your space, be yourself.
Take your space and be yourself.
That's both my biggest insecurity and also the thing that you need to lean into in your life.
Knowing how to know your environment and knowing what resources that you have.
My biggest insecurity is feeling like I don't always know enough. And I guess like my business advice would be not taking everyone else's advice because people are full of it.
Make mistakes, learn how to laugh about it, pick yourself up and realize your mistake didn't kill you, so you're gonna learn from that. It's just a stepping stone and move on to the bigger thing.
Knowing what it is that your skill set is, and that can take time, and that's okay.
So my biggest insecurity would be very similar to what you guys have talked about, is every time I feel afraid or feel like I can't do something, I force it. I go do it anyway, and I've lived a life of doing things out of my comfort zone. And that's the entrepreneur's mindset, is just make it happen. Take the courage, take the leap, step out of your comfort zone.
I love it. And guess what? Everyone stand up. No. I didn't get it.
You didn't say yours.
There's a lot of crap in the world, but guess what? You gotta dig deep. Find the good and spread the awesome. And that's right.
Agreed.